Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most complex and fascinating topics in international affairs. What does the future hold for North Korea? Predicting anything about this secluded nation is notoriously difficult, but by piecing together expert analysis and current trends, we can build a picture of what the next 1 to 5 years might look like. Let's get started. First, let's talk about politics and security, which in North Korea's case means one thing above all: nuclear weapons. Over the next year, we can expect Pyongyang to stick to its 5-year plan, pushing forward with its nuclear and missile programs. The focus will be on making their weapons smaller, lighter, and more tactical. At the same time, we're seeing a deepening alignment between North Korea, China, and Russia. This isn't just about diplomatic handshakes. It could be a crucial lifeline, with arms exports to Russia, for example, helping North Korea acquire much-needed foreign currency and goods. Tensions on the Korean peninsula will almost certainly remain high. Looking out 3 to 5 years, the picture doesn't change much unless there's a major breakthrough in denuclearization talks, which seems unlikely right now. North Korea will likely double down on its efforts to be recognized and accepted as a nuclear-armed state. This means its relationships with South Korea and Japan will continue to be tense and unpredictable. The regime will have to perform a delicate balancing act, trying to benefit from its ties with China and Russia while navigating the crushing weight of international sanctions and increasing diplomatic isolation from the West. It's a tightrope walk with global consequences. Now, what does this mean for the North Korean economy and the daily lives of its people? In the short term, over the next 1 to 2 years, there might be a glimmer of hope. The resumption of trade with China and the potential cash flow from arms deals could provide a temporary economic boost. However, experts are quick to point out that this is likely a short-term fix. The state-led, top-down approach to the economy is a major obstacle to any real, sustainable growth. For ordinary people, life will remain incredibly tough. Chronic food shortages are a persistent reality. Despite the government's attempts to crack down on them, unofficial markets, or jangma-dang, will continue to be a vital, if risky, lifeline for many. Zooming out to the 3 to 5 year forecast, the economic outlook is grim. As long as the nuclear program is the top priority, international sanctions will remain in place, choking off most avenues for economic development. Without a fundamental pivot from the leadership towards genuine economic reform and opening up to the world, it's hard to see how the economy or the people's standard of living can meaningfully improve. That said, the regime knows that economic stability is the bedrock of its own survival. So, we'll likely see a continuation of this strange hybrid system, where the state officially denounces markets but quietly allows certain market-like activities to persist to prevent total collapse and keep the system afloat. So, with all this pressure, is the regime itself at risk? For now, the consensus is that Kim Jong Un's control is politically stable. Ideological indoctrination and strict control over the population will continue to be the cornerstones of his rule. The state's security apparatus is pervasive and effective at suppressing dissent. However, we can't ignore the potential for cracks to appear. If the economy continues to stagnate and the promised improvements never materialize, frustration could grow. This isn't just about the general population. Discontent could also simmer among the privileged classes in Pyongyang, who have more to lose and are more aware of the world outside. If their access to resources and a better quality of life diminishes, their loyalty could be tested. This is a long-term variable to watch very closely. So, to wrap it all up, what's the big picture? Don't expect any dramatic, sudden changes. A collapse of the regime, or a rapid sprint towards denuclearization and reform, is not on the cards for the foreseeable future. Instead, we're likely to see a steady, methodical advancement of North Korea's nuclear capabilities. This will keep tensions with the international community simmering, and likely flaring up from time to time. The economy will remain in a state of chronic crisis, hobbled by structural problems and sanctions. While there might be some temporary relief from its partnerships with China and Russia, the long-term prospects for the North Korean people remain incredibly challenging. It's a scenario of persistent tension, strategic maneuvering, and immense human struggle. The situation is constantly evolving, and we'll be here to track it every step of the way. What are your thoughts on North Korea's future? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into global affairs. We'll see you in the next one.